Hi guys, how are you? I'm going live today to talk about spirituality for women and um, I'm waiting for some. I'm going live today to talk about spirituality for women and um, I'm waiting for someone to try to open the comments. I would love to chat with all of you about all things spirituality. Okay. No, okay. Hi, how are you? My name is Ashira Nicole. I'm glad to see some people jumping on here. How are you today? I'm glad to see everyone here. I talk about all things women's spirituality, and this is a very exciting time in the world right now because there are a lot of people going through the spiritual awakening process right now, and it's unprecedented in any time in history since probably like the time of the Buddha because he had all those followers rise with him into enlightenment. But right now, we have so many people around the world that are waking up, that are realizing who they truly are and the true nature of reality and themselves. And it's very exciting. And we have this wonderful opportunity here with apps like TikTok to be able to connect with other spiritual people around the world and to build a community. And I am so happy to have you all here. I am an old starseed. I've been around here for a long time. That's where the name Ashira comes from. That's in the ancient Canaanite Hebrew pantheon, and I came here a long time ago as an ancient alien, an angel, whatever you want to call us, space people from a long time ago. And there are a lot of us still here, and there are new starseeds coming in now, and we're waiting for leadership in this starseed community because we haven't had anybody step to the forefront yet and say, I am here, I'm ready to lead this charge to make the world a better place, to bring in the new reality that we're expecting, because this 3D reality that we're in is breaking down. And I know a lot of people feel that, and that it's very, okay. Sorry, there's all these weird things on the live since I updated my TikTok. I'll leave that alone. But I would love to hear any questions that you guys have that I can answer for you. So if you like to talk to spirit guides, well, here I'm a little tapped into the other side so I can help you with a little bit of what's going on over there. They are kind of waiting for things to shift a little bit because this was actually supposed to happen like over a year ago, the shift to the new earth, because the new earth is ready. The portal is ready. They are just waiting for someone to step up there and open the door and say, come on in, guys, we're ready. We are ready to go. We do not want this reality anymore because this reality is not working. Because let's face it, there's a lot of social injustice in this world. And to me, that's so deeply entwined with spirituality, is social justice, because when we come into alignment within ourselves and we become the best version of ourselves that we can be, it leads us to this very deep compassion and caring for other people, caring for the earth, connection to nature. And that to me is what spirituality is about. Spirituality is supposed to help us to be better people. And to be better people, we need to be able to show kindness to everyone in the world and not just people who are like me. We need to realize that everyone has the same essential nature in their soul. Everyone on the soul level is the same. And the more that we can realize that and internalize that, the more we can create a better community for everyone in this world. How are you doing? Where are you from? I am doing quite well. I am originally from the United States. Currently, I live in Germany. It's very beautiful, warm weather here today. Where are you from? You can tell me in the comments, or if you have any questions, and thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. You're doing good. You're from Pakistan? Okay. How is everything going in Pakistan right now? I heard that there was a lot of like a war going on over there between Pakistan and India almost, and that's kind of scary right now. There's like three big wars going on in this world right now, and that's just another sign that like our whole system of the way we run the world is failing and things are not working. So we need to step up to the plate and create a new system of how we structure the world that's more equitable to everyone. And to me, that is so intertwined with spirituality because to me, I mean, I do a lot of stuff with law of attraction and okay. All right. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. Thank you for joining everyone that's here. We're talking all things spirituality today. I would love to take any questions. I am an ancient starseed. I'm Lyrian, if anybody knows what that is. So I came here a very long time ago to assist the earth. Basically, at the beginning of the earth, there was humanity, and then other alien cultures came here. They set up their little base, and it was supposed to be far away, that they weren't bothering people because this earth was pretty uninhabited thousands of years ago, so there was a lot of room for them to spread out. And basically, they set up this world as a chess match to see who's going to be in charge on the other side of the galactic system of governance. And so they decided to play it out, and it was kind of like a chess game, and there were 7 of us stationed outside that were supposed to watch and make sure they didn't break the rules. But they broke the rules because that's what they do. And so I came in, I tried to tell them, no, you have to obey the original rules because you are tainting the results you're trying to get, because you're unduly influencing people. You're letting people think that you are this all-knowing, all-powerful God being. And I mean, think of it like this. So the gods of the ancient world were space people. Think of it today like if you teleported back in time 1,000 years. If you were there 1,000 years ago with your cell phone and your nice bottled water and your normal looking clothes and shoes that weren't falling apart, people back then would have thought you were a god too. So it's a misconception to think of any being as being higher than any other being. Yes, because all this rank ordering, this is what gets us into so much trouble, thinking that anybody is better than anybody else. And we're not. We're old. We had more technology. We lived somewhere else before we lived here. And does that make us better than anybody else? No, it really doesn't. I mean, yes, the years give you wisdom. Yes, the years give you insight. Yes, right now we are at this pivotal point where more souls. In the past, when you would reincarnate, you didn't remember your previous lives, but more of us now, we remember the history. We remember everything that happened before, and we have to remember the beginning because we're closing out this huge 10,000 year cycle right now of ever since from the fall of Atlantis to now, we're like at kind of a hard reset point for this world where like things have kind of gone off the rails, because now, instead of being 2 teams of starseeds here that was originally here, there's probably like 100. And that number is a guess. It's an estimation. I don't know for sure. I don't know how many planets have sent their interplanetary emissaries here now. There's a lot. And all of them have their own agenda. All of them have their own belief system. And that's why there's so many religions in this world. Because when each new starseed culture came here, they brought their beliefs from their other world. They brought their cosmology. They brought their origin myths. And that's why there's so many different origin myths, because they're origin myths from all these different worlds. They're not the origin myth of the earth. So how do I look at comments on here? I see you guys liking on here. I would really love to see anyone has a comment or a question or anything you would like to ask me about meditation or what you can do to make a difference. Mostly, I just want to be able to build connections through TikTok, to be able to have a community of spiritually minded people who are a collective that is based in compassion and the idea that even though we have all these different origins and even though we have all these different ideas about how things were supposed to be, that we need to focus on right here, right now. We need to come together right here, right now to make the world a good world for everybody to live in, because we are not fragmented cultures all over the place anymore. We are a global culture because we have the internet and because humanity has expanded so much that each culture, they run up against borders of other countries. I mean, like here in Germany, like there's a little castle right on the hill behind my house. And then I drive to the next 2 towns over. It's a 10-minute drive. There's another little castle on the top of the hill there. And back in the day, that used to be far away. Back then, that used to be like 2 different fiefdoms or whatever they were called in Germany. I don't know. Hi, Barack. Thank you for joining. And so, like, with all those, when things were far apart, it was easy for there to be different belief systems that coexisted, because theoretically, somebody who lived at my little castle up here on the hill, they would never meet anyone in their entire life that lived at that other little castle in the town that's a 10-minute drive from here because it was too far away. So having different belief systems was never a problem in the past. But now, because civilization has grown and expanded so much, these different clashing belief systems are causing friction between cultures. And that causes a lot of strife in our civilization, because I know not all wars have started over religion, and that is a common misconception. But it's also true, because religion stratifies us and spirituality brings us together, because spirituality is seeing the common spirit within everyone, the common goodness, the common core of the soul, of love, of peace, of compassion, of kindness. And in order to amplify that, we need to break down all these barriers that's based on history. So we need to be able to learn to get along and find a new direction, a common direction, some alignment between everybody, just wanting to each be out for themselves. Because somebody told me a long time ago, everybody has 3 things they're better at than everybody else. And if everybody found those 3 things and leaned into them, think how amazingly successful they would be, right? But because people don't have opportunities to find success for themselves, people are not giving their gifts to the world as a result of that, because they are living in survival mode. They have poverty and hunger and greed and crime and lack of clean water and all these other problems that could so easily be alleviated. Because if you look at the website for the United Nations has a plan to solve, like, I would say literally every global problem. But people are not aware of that. And so we need to just create like a collective that has this awareness, that is putting compassion at the top of the totem pole of our values. Because if we don't do that, then this world, like climate change, is a looming threat. And they have said, even like based off of research by the United Nations, even NASA says that if we don't like seriously limit carbon emissions by 2030, that we will never be able to roll back the clock on climate change. And I don't think that's the world that we want for the future, because, I mean, we might not be alive by then, but our children will be alive by then. Do you want to bring a child into a world that is going to be like that? I mean, there is enough problems as it is. And, sorry, I'm spilling. Creating a world that only has more problems is not what we want for the future. We want to make the future better than the past, because in the past, we have shown that greed and fear leads to division and strife. So I say, when it comes to law of attraction and lucky girl syndrome, everybody wants to manifest abundance. Well, you know what? I look outside and I see natural abundance in the world everywhere. And Okay, I have no idea. It just, TikTok wants me to do something. But sorry, what I was saying, we need to come together now and say, okay, the past is the past. We're going to wipe the slate clean. We're going to start over. We're going to do something better. And we are going to create a future that is good for everyone. And with law of attraction, a lot of what I do to manifest is I script and I write and I say, okay, what is the most beautiful future that I can think of? And when I think of that beautiful future, I don't just think for me. I think for global, because a lot of the problems that everyone experiences in their personal day-to-day lives are systemic problems. And if you're experiencing racism, poverty, hunger, war, discrimination, there's way more problems than that. But if you're experiencing problems in your own life, chances are it's because we live in a stratified society that is not making it easy for people to be successful. And the more we allow everyone to succeed and to choose their path and to be good at what they do and to have something that is a fulfilling life, people are not going to do bad things anymore because they won't need to, because people turn to crime as a last resort. People don't wake up one day and go, oh, I think it would be super fun to rob 7-Eleven. I mean, it's out of desperation, and desperation comes from fear. Desperation comes from years and years and years of being trodden down and systemically oppressed. And there are so many groups in this world that have been systemically oppressed for a very long time. And by allowing that to continue, we are just playing into the same old ball game where the elites are kicking the ball back and forth up here and everybody else is standing here and watching. And we need to say, okay, we have this world. This world has so many resources. Like when it comes to food, we have enough food in this world to feed everyone in this world 1.5 times over. And that food is not being evenly distributed because food is grown in the belt around the equator because that's where there's good farming areas. And especially with the war in Ukraine, food is getting scarcer because that is a major grain production area. So that's hurting world food supply. And a lot of that goes to impoverished countries of that grain that was coming from Ukraine, which is now not being grown, which is exacerbating world hunger because of despotic rule. And so we need to badly just dismantle the patriarchy, dismantle dictatorship, dismantle capitalism, and this idea that to be successful is something that is scarce. Because if everyone really is good at those three different things, imagine, okay, your thing is baseball, your thing is basketball, your thing is soccer, football, hockey, whatever. Everybody can be the best at something. Everybody can win a trophy. It can be legitimate. And if everybody was at the top of their game, doing the best possible thing, living their highest good and their highest potential, if we enabled that, I love you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And feel free to type questions in the comments anytime. Otherwise, I just keep talking. So basically what I'm saying is we need to create a society that enables everyone to succeed to their utmost potential, because when we do that, we lift the collective higher, because we're not having people living in tents with no shoes anymore. We're not having people that are going hungry. We are not having people that are homeless. We are not having people that are having all these worries about their basic survival. So when basic survival needs are met, then we can go to these higher levels of self-actualization, and everyone can start working on their spiritual goals. Everyone can start on that path toward enlightenment. Everyone can have such a better life, and it is available to us right now. We just have to say, this is what we want. We want to follow the United Nations plan for climate change, ending war, ending hunger, providing clean water, equitable distribution of resources. And when we do that, then we enable the world to be a better place, because when we just say, I want to manifest $1 million, like, what are you going to do when you have $1 million? I was thinking about this yesterday. If I had $1 million, like, I would keep a little bit of that for myself so that I could live the rest of my life in peace. I would give a little bit of it to my kids, and then I would get the rest of it to the United Nations World Food Program. And I think that we just need to be more aware when we're thinking about our manifestations, why we want to manifest something, because a lot of it goes back to fears about survival and safety. And if we were in a place where we were all safe and we were all provided for, we wouldn't have those fears anymore. And then we wouldn't have this level of greed and fear, because greed is based on fear of lack. And if we didn't have fear of lack, why would there be greed? Because if you had all your needs met all the time, and you knew for the rest of your life with certainty all your needs would always be met, like, you would be so, so, so happy, wouldn't you? I mean, that is what when I light my candles and I do my journaling and I try to manifest, that's what I want. That is the world that I envision for us, is a world where everyone has enough and everyone is happy. And people don't have to overwork in these make work jobs that are just like pushing around piles of paperwork that is unnecessary, because like the 40-hour work week and 50 plus in some countries where you have no days off for like months and months on end is just stressing people to the extreme. And when people are stressed, they have bad reactions. When people have bad reactions, they act mean toward other people. And if we could reduce everyone's stress level, people would be nice to each other, right? I mean, it makes sense. It's logic, it's reasoning. So, we just need to act in a way that allows everyone to be their best self. So the more that we become spiritually centered through our own meditation practice, which I think is the core practice of any spiritual faith, is to meditate, because you find that silence inside yourself, you find your inner peace, you find your clarity, you find your wisdom, then that's how you have the strength to go in the world and do something good. Because when you don't have strength inside yourself, you're tired. It's like you're drowning from the Titanic and you're trying to save everybody. But if you don't have a boat, you can't save anybody. You can save maybe like one person, but you're drowning from the Titanic and you're trying to save everybody. But if you don't have a boat, you can't save anybody. You can save maybe like one person, but you can't always. You can only save, I don't know, however many people you can carry, which is not very many. But if you can teach people to carry themselves, then we can all swim together. We can all win the race. We can all get away from the Titanic that's sinking. And that's what we need to do. We need to enable people to have the tools available to them to be their best selves. And to me, like, the main 3 spiritual directives that I will always tell everyone is the most important things is 1, meditation. Meditate every day. Sit in your silence. Find yourself. Find your peace. And I do have meditation videos on my channel. I have them on YouTube. If you want me to make more, let me know in the comments. Send me a DM. I'm happy to make more meditation videos if you would like that. And then 2 is listening, because once you're quiet inside yourself, you have the capability to have empathy for others, and you can listen to them. Because when you hear people's stories, when you really start to understand them and to understand why they do the things they do, then that creates space for dialogue, because you can't have dialogue if you're not listening. A lot of people get into a conversation and they're not listening. They're just waiting for their turn to say something. They already have their mind made up. And so when you listen from stillness. Do I have a playlist on Spotify? No, I do not. If that's something that people would be interested in, I could definitely try to do that. Let me know what type of content you'd like on there. Listen, then speak. Yes. Wait for, so exactly. So creating a space for other people to speak creates the 3rd thing on my list, compassion. Because compassion really is what changes the world. Because compassion is, to me, love plus kindness. Or, as in Buddhism, they call it loving kindness. And there are wonderful loving kindness meditations all over that you can find. And in that meditation, what you do, you close your eyes and you say to yourself, may you be well, Meditation, what you do, you close your eyes and you say to yourself, may you be well, may you be happy. Phone, guys, if I lose you. So if you can do anything, the most important thing, guided meditations are a big thing, hence the reason I asked. Yes, I have actually had somebody ask me to do that, and I am looking into it. I have actually figured out how to do like all the soft, nice piano music in the background now. I'm getting more tech savvy, so I can try to post some of those and for Spotify. I just need to figure out how to do that. I do actually have music recording equipment in my house. Weirdly enough, I used to be a professional musician for a little while. So if there's an interest in that, sure, I can definitely put some meditations on Spotify. And I do have the loving kindness meditation on my TikTok that you can listen to as a video. And I have a couple other meditations on there, like a meditation tutorial for beginners that I learned when I used to go. What instrument do I play? I play the piano and I played cello. I was a keyboardist for a band. It's called Rain Project. Yes, loving kindness, exactly. Because the more we cultivate that, that's the essential nature of what we are. We are spirit, and at our source, we are boundless love, and that is the nature of our being. And the more we return to that and the more we meditate, we find that inside ourselves, and we realize that we are not separate. We are part of this collective whole. And kind of how I was explaining it to a friend of mine earlier today was, it's like, imagine that your body is God, and it can be like the universe, whatever. And we are all like cells in that body. So I'm God's liver, you're God's stomach, somebody else is God's face, you know. We're all a piece of God. We all have that same spark of divine essence inside us. I'm glad you agree with that. It actually goes back to an ancient Indian concept that they have within Hinduism and Buddhism. It's called prana, which is referring to the life force energy that's inside everything, which recently has also been proven to actually exist through quantum physics when they go down to the very particle level. So there is, I think they were saying it's called a quark. Sorry, I'm not the most. Our bodies are God. Yeah, exactly. We are one. We are. We're not separate. Our separation is an illusion. And the more of us can come awake and realize that, the more we shift. And that's what it really is to become. They call it in Buddhism enlightenment or awakening, or I don't know the difference between awakening and enlightenment. I would not call myself enlightened. I feel like I still have a ways to go, but that's my path. I would love to be enlightened someday. And I think the more that we apply ourselves to that path and to just cultivating that spark of divine being inside each of us, we become like, we empty. And a lot of spirituality and coming into your true self is about releasing. It's not about something you have to be more. It's you have to be less. It's like enlightenment is a never-ending cycle. I think in some ways it is. But that goes back to the whole concept of the metaverse and the many universes theory, but I can talk about that too if you want. Meditation, enlightenment, loving kindness, that's what it's about, because at its core, every religion teaches to love one another, to treat people with kindness. They have codes of conduct that try to inspire us to be better people. And although that is not always what happens, because religion becomes politicized, and then it becomes this whole struggle of, oh, my God can beat up your God. Well, okay, let's put your God in a cage match and have him do celebrity death match and have it over with, because we need to stop arguing already. Like, who cares whose God is better? That's why out of all the world religions, I resonate with Wicca and Buddhism, because Wicca is the religion of the earth and the cycles and just being in tune with nature and just, I don't know, this I don't know if you can see outside my window, the beautiful green here in Germany. It just makes me feel so alive in this beautiful world and connected to the earth. And it just, to me, that's abundance. Going outside and seeing all that green and those things that just grow. And they grow without any human hands helping them. And there are things in the forest that are growing and growing forever that nobody had to grow them. The earth provides for us. It provides abundance. We don't need more abundance. We just need to see what's around us, and we need to make it available to everyone. We need to stop building fences. We need to stop building walls. There would be no need for religion if we accepted that we are one. Religion has too much ego. Yes, I agree with that. Because I think religion, it becomes so much more about like dogma and being right or being wrong, and right belief, especially in Western religion, because right belief becomes more important than right action. And I had this conversation once with my mother, and she, when I told her I was leaving the Christian faith, almost 20 years ago now. So dogma, yeah. And a lot of the dogma, like, it doesn't come from the original founders of all of these religions. I mean, like, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Lao Tzu. I know there's way more, sorry. But all of the great teachers of the past, they all taught this concept of divine oneness. And you can find it in places like mystic poetry from Rumi as a really great example. And one of my favorites is the book, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. It talks about, it's like a metaphorical like journey of the soul, and just like the lessons learned from life. And just, there's this line in there that I always come back to again and again. And it says, beauty is eternity gazing at itself in the mirror. You are eternity and you are the mirror. And that's why I tell people to say their affirmations looking in the mirror. Because when you look into your eyes, it creates what's called, in Hindu, darshan, which is like you view somebody's soul. When eyes are the window to the soul. And so there's so much emotion you can feel in people's eyes. And so when you look into somebody's eyes and let them look into your eyes, you're creating that quality of darshan. And that's why in India there's so much symbology. And like if you look at the Indian statues of the Buddha, there's eyes in the hand, and there's all these eyes, and it's the God gazing back at you. And that's what that's called. That's receiving the God's darshan, as having them look at you like that. And it is a very powerful thing. And a lot of us, we spend so much time like looking into our phone instead of looking at people in conversation. So I find this especially with my little daughter, and I've tried to be very mindful of this in the last year or 2 years too. If she's speaking to me, I put down whatever I'm doing. I look at her face, and I listen. And just providing that space for someone, again, listening. Because when you're looking away instead of looking at people, you lose so much of like the facial gestures and things that are a part of conversation, because there's only 10% of our communication that's actually verbal communication. Most of our communication is nonverbal. It comes through gestures and tone and slumping your shoulders, body language. Oh, I'm going to lay on my couch like this. You want to watch my live now? It's really interesting, huh? But when I look at you, when I make eye contact with you, then it's a better conversation, right? So when we give people that gift, that darshan, we're giving them a portion of ourselves, and that helps create the connection between people. And you can do that with yourself when you want to rewire your subconscious limiting beliefs, is to say the things you want to say, looking in your eyes in the mirror, because that's one of the very, very powerful ways to change your thought process. Because when you're looking in the mirror, your brain thinks another person is talking to you. And for some reason, our subconscious mind takes what other people say to us more seriously than the things we say to ourselves. Be that as it may, I don't know. We should learn to listen to ourselves, perhaps at times more than we listen to others, but that's what meditation is for. Oh, sorry. But when you create that eye contact, that seeing, a lot of healing can be done with mirror work and just looking at yourself in the mirror, saying the things you want to believe about yourself, having a conversation. You can embody, like, if there was somebody in the past that harmed you, you can step into that role and say the things that you wish that person would say to you, give the apology that you wish that person would have given to you, give the closure you wish that person would have given to you, because in reality, we are all the same soul. So it's like me apologizing to me for something I did to me. And when you look in the mirror, you're doing exactly that. So looking at yourself in the mirror is a great exercise for your spiritual development. And like in the ancient times, Neville Goddard. Oh, am I saying something Neville Goddard said? I do listen to some of him a little bit. I haven't read a ton. I actually, back in the day, read a lot more Deepak Chopra, and that's why, I don't know, I've always resonated with India and like these, I don't know, it's interesting, just, but I think, I mean, all the mystics across time do tell you all the same things. I am not telling you something new. I am telling you the wisdom of the ages again. Yes, he speaks about mentally having a conversation with someone before meeting them. Yes, I have done that too. Remote viewing. There's several people in my life who were very mystical, magical people that I like dreamed of them before. He says that dictates how the conversation goes. Yeah, I think that definitely is possible. I mean, like, you can think about, like, if you want to go have a difficult conversation with, like, your boss or your partner, whoever, if you, like, play it out in your mind and calmly, like, plan what you want to say to them and plan that and just imagine them being receptive to you. Because a lot of times, like, we have these, like, ideas. If you argue with them before meeting them, they'll argue with you in the flesh. Yeah, I think that's true. Because we carry our preconceptions into conversations. And the more we can, like, drop those preconceptions and be in a peaceful mindset, like, it does open up a lot more conversation. And, yeah, having hard conversations with people in real life, it's very scary. And I've read a lot of, like, communication books, like Nonviolent Communication, Crucial Conversations, things like that, to just improve conversation. Because I grew up with parents who were very narcissistic, and I did not learn good communication skills in childhood. I learned that there was either the person who was very aggressive and mean and yelling, and the person who's like, hey, don't hurt me. So, but, like, honestly, you don't want to be either of those extremes. They're extremes. And you want to be somewhere in the middle. And I think that's true with most of life. Like, we overemphasize, like, these choices as being dichotomies, and most of them are not. I mean, there's, like, we think something is either good or it's evil. And most things are, like, kind of in the middle. It's like, I don't know. I asked my daughter how her day is when she comes home from school. I'm like, did you have a good day today? And she's like, was it a bad day? Yeah. She's like, medium. So we have to, like, realize that most of the choices that we make in life, they are not, like, the best choice we could ever make, but they're probably not the worst choice we could ever make either. I mean, it's not like, I don't know, any of you or me is gonna, like, go run out in the street after this live and, like, light our hair on fire or something, you know? I mean, we're not doing something terrible. We're not an axe murderer. I mean, like, yeah, maybe you say something mean to somebody sometimes, but you're not evil. And that brings me my favorite Khalil Gibran quotes. He says, when you're at one with yourself, you are good. But when you are not at one with yourself, you are not evil. Because a divided house is not a den of thieves. It is only a divided house. So basically, we catastrophize things a lot more than we need to. We like make everything into this like life or death struggle that it doesn't need to be, because a lot of times, like especially those conversations you're talking about that you build up in your mind that you're like, oh my God, I don't want to tell them. I don't want to tell them. Like, I live next to a church, and we don't have real parking spaces here because like our house is over 130 years old. Our house was here before there was cars, so the street is like not made for parking. So people park in like these weird U-shaped things next to the church. One day I ran my car into the church because I was trying to park, and I really didn't want to tell my partner that I had crashed the car into the church. But then I did, and like he laughed at me. That was it. He wasn't mad. He just laughed at me. I have a Mercedes that has a giant scratch that costs $1,000 to fix because I ran a Mercedes into a church. Yeah. Epic fail. But like, I don't know. I mean, that conversation could have gone completely different. Like, I didn't catastrophize. I didn't make excuses. Like, I don't know. I'm bad at parallel parking. It is what it is. Like, I mean, but there's so many things like that in life that like we just turn it into this bigger ordeal in our mind, like before it even happens, and it is. And a lot of it is like that mental buildup, like you were saying, that causes us like to have these catastrophic reactions because like we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. I can't tell my boss I need next Thursday off. We have a presentation. Okay, first of all, unless your job is like being a brain surgeon, like it's probably okay if you miss next Thursday, regardless what your boss says. Nobody's going to die. Second off, like, I mean, what is your boss going to do? Yeah, maybe your boss will fire you. Is your boss going to, like, I don't know, grab something off his desk and smash you over the head? Like, probably not. So, like, that's a lot of, like, that subconscious rewiring that, like, working with the law of attraction really helps you with. Because to me, a law of attraction is not like, I need $1 million to fall into my lap. Although, would I cry if $1 million did fall in my lap? No, I wouldn't. I'd be happy. But to me, it's just like becoming aware of your mindset, because they say where attention goes, energy flows. And so where do you want to focus your attention? What is important to you? What are you prioritizing? Are you doing it in an intentional way, or are you just letting happenstance happen to you? And I think a lot of us, we just are flying by the seat of our pants a lot of the time and not making intentional choices. And that's how we get into a lot of problems. So when you start working with the law of attraction and realizing your thoughts become things, you're like, maybe that wasn't the thing that I wanted. So you become more aware of your thoughts. You become more aware of what is stopping you from being where you want to be. Because the shortest distance between 2 points is always a straight line. But if you don't know where you're going, your straight line is aiming for nothing, and your path is going to look like this, and you're going to never get to where you're going because you didn't know where you were going. So you can't get there. You can't ask Siri to find something for you if you don't know what you want to find. So, Siri, I want to go. I want to go in the car. I want to go really fast. What are you going to do? Be the dog hanging your head out the window? Like, I mean, I guess that's okay. You can drive for a drive and go nowhere and enjoy it and have a nice sunny day. But I don't know. Is that what you want your life to be? Do you want it to just be like going like this? Or do you want to like be on the path that's going to here? You have to know your destination before you can find your path. So for me, like the ultimate destination is like, for myself, that happier world. The world where everybody is happy. The world where everybody has enough. The world where everybody is succeeding. And I think we can make that world reality. What do you think? The more of us believe, the more of us create together, because we are co-creators with the universe. Because that's what we do. We are all, with our thoughts, making this. And when you have a bunch of people, it's like little kids playing with blocks. And they can either be building the Sears Tower, or this can be building robots. That kid can be building a castle. That kid's building a unicorn. And then they're like, oh, why are we not making something together? If we all make the same thing together, it's a lot easier to make it. And it helps to know what you want to make before you make it. Otherwise, you just make a mess. So, that's life. And I mean, again, like I said before, the three things I think for spirituality and creating the better world is meditation, listening, and compassion. And if you want to read more about any of these, I actually do have books that I've written about spirituality. I have one about Buddhism, one that focuses on, that's called Compassion is the Ultimate Goal of Spirituality, which focuses on following spirituality to its culmination and being spiritual but not religious. And I have a new book out in January that is called The Slavery of Women, which talks about how women have been treated by the let's call them patriarchal religions throughout history, and secret women of the Bible, and all sorts of interesting things like that. So I also have a poetry book that I put out last month called Dark Night of the Soul, that's basically based on my own spiritual awakening and coming into my own and finding my place. And I mean, like everybody else, I'm a work in progress, but I've been on this path for a long time, you guys, as a starseed who has been in this world for over 10,000 years. So I've seen a lot. I am definitely as far as goddess archetypes go, I'm goddess's crone. I'm not the goddess's mother anymore, even though I do got a little one. I'm on the way out. I'm transitioning. I'm getting ready, this new generation of starseeds, to take the lead and to help us rise, because we do have a new leader coming. There is supposed to be someone coming here to lead us, and I feel like she's just right off stage waiting to come in the wings. And we need this divine feminine balance, because we have been as this world in such a masculine energy for a long time that it's turned to this dark, toxic masculinity. And I know people don't like to hear say that, and I'm hashtag not all men. I live with a man. I am not a man-hating shrew, and whatever, if you are, that's fine. It's understandable. I'm on board with you ladies who are for being in America right now, and Korea too, because the patriarchy has stomped us down for a long time, but it's not individual men who are always doing the stomping. So we need the balance. We need the divinest masculine and the divinest feminine. And a lot of our problems in Western religion has come from viewing the divine solely from a male perspective, because the God is Father, Son, Holy Ghost is all men. And taking the woman out of spirituality has created this gap where women feel like we don't have a vision of the divine to relate to. And that's what a lot of this awakening process is right now, the divine feminine awakening that I've been doing my series on recently. Because I remember being a priestess, an angel, an ancient person who was trying to uplift humanity. And that has always been my goal. That has always been my goal, is to help, to guide, to give strength, to be that nurturer for people, because everybody needs someone to love them. Everybody needs somebody to listen. And for a long time, I have been that listening ear for people, but it's time for somebody to rise in divine feminine power and to be our new Joan of Arc, carrying that flaming sword, leading us forward to smash the patriarchy and make a new way, because women have these drives for women's rights. You will notice never once do women ask to be the top of the totem pole. We ask to walk together. And that's what we need. We need both energies together, both energies healed. And the twin flame journey is very symbolic of that. I am a twin flame as well. In my first life, I was born as a literal twin. So it's interesting stuff, guys. But that healing, that unity is what we need. And a lot of like the spiritual work that I've been doing for my own healing in the last 6 months has been with assistance from my twin that's on the other side, because like I've always seen like these silver cords that connect people in relationships, and maybe you do too if you're an empath. You see the threads of relationships of people that have with each other, and I've always seen those. But for the very first time, like when I've been doing this work with my twin, it like I didn't just see two cords. I saw two. They were spiraling. It was my silver energy going up, his golden energy flowing down, and that's what our DNA is. It's that spiral helix. It is those two cords together. We have the one, half of our genetics comes from the mother, half of it comes from the father, and that's ingrained in us. That's our DNA. That's who we are. We are half masculine, half feminine based on our genetic material. So we're getting half from both of our parents. We are half of both of our parents, and that's how we came to be as human beings. So by activating our DNA, I see twin flame couples all over the place getting together. I have a close girlfriend that she has reunited with her twin from her other life recently as well. And it's wonderful to see this because it is so healing. And that is about divine partnership, because we are not meant to walk alone. We are meant to unite. We are meant to come in partnership, in union with not just our twin, but with ourself, with society, with the oneness of everything, like we were talking about earlier, divine oneness. And like one of the deepest scars in society that I see, like, I mean, there is like politics, religion, racism, and violence against women, because even in ancient cultures, like before, like there was slavery between cultures, women were sold as slaves by their fathers to their husbands starting about 6,000 years ago. And the slavery of women came in a lot of ways before the slavery of everyone else, because like if you read the Hebrew Bible, it talks about rules in Leviticus for keeping slaves. And it says if you have a male slave, you can keep that slave for 6 years. But if you have a female slave, she is your slave forever. So a lot of that is like where this division started, and healing these rifts between the masculine and the feminine energy, and not seeing so much difference, so much dichotomy, so much darkness in between men and women, I think is one of the beginning points of healing. And excuse me. We need that divine feminine archetype to rise. We need a strong female leader on the world stage to be able to counteract all of this, like millionaire, old, rich, white men control, because the patriarchy at its core is based on power and control over children and women through women's wombs. Because back in the day, like when they invented marriage, it was so that property could pass through the male line. Because before that, if a woman could have a child with whoever she wants, the property would pass through the female line. And apparently guys got tired of that, so they decided to change it up and say, okay, women, you can only be with this one guy. This is your guy. That way we know that your child is his child, and that way the property can pass to the male child. So, oh jeez, what? Something is wrong with my phone. Hold on. No, I don't want to drag a puzzle piece. What? Sorry. Are you still there? TikTok was like verifying like some weird CAPTCHA thing on my screen. Maybe I'm talking too long. I'll get you guys off here in about 5 more minutes unless anybody has any questions. So my mission right now is to assist in the collective, this beautiful angelic starseed, dedicated, loving, kind, compassionate community that I see. And a lot of it is like all you lovely TikTok girls. And because I feel like there is so much sameness in the heart space that we have with like Buddhist monks, because we're doing the same work. We're doing the healing. We're doing the meditation. We're doing the healing that is so badly needed. And when we heal, we become stronger and we step into our divine feminine energy. And when the divine feminine rises, she can balance divine masculine, because when this unbalanced power dynamic is the problem. And it's not that, like, again, I am not saying all men are bad. I am not ever saying that, because that is not realistic. That is very unkind. It just, in our patriarchal power system, I mean, look at so many world leaders are men. And even in like developed countries, like, I mean, yes, Great Britain has had female leadership, New Zealand, Australia, Germany. Germany had Merkel. I should know that. There has been strong female leadership, but the more we balance leadership in politics, like, it's even been proven in like peacekeeping that when women are involved in peacekeeping at like a national and global level, that it's a more compassionate and lasting peace, because it's about building bridges instead of walls. It's about like taking down our fences, taking down all these things that have divided us for so long, because a lot of these are just arbitrarily created categories that we have created, because our minds love to create categories. That's how we organize things. It's like how we create words, like, I don't know, this is my nose, my eye, whatever. So we categorize things so that we can understand them easier, but we have overly categorized to the point that we are using those categories as divisions. And a lot of them are so arbitrary and so harmful and so damaging to people that we are persecuting because of their differences. And we just need to stop. We need to start valuing everyone and realizing that, you know what, the universe does not create garbage. Everything that's here is here for a purpose. Every person on this world is here because they have something valuable to contribute. And when we don't allow people to contribute their gifts, we are selling humanity short. And like, I was reminded of this. I was watching this video the other day about how every insect in our biome has a purpose. I mean, there's like thousands of different insects in the world, and they all serve some useful purpose. So like in Germany, there's a law that you can't squish a bee, because bees are like becoming endangered and the world will die without bees. So if you kill a bee in Germany, you have to pay $100 fine. Crazy, right? But I mean, it's just like that awareness of that all life is sacred, all life is valuable, all life has a purpose. I mean, it's not like you're walking around seeing like, I don't know, weird 3-headed fish or somebody with like their leg coming out the top of their head. Like, there's order to the chaos, you know? Things happen for a reason. Things have systemic order. And like, when we don't treat everyone with love, respect, kindness, and compassion, we're making all of ourselves stronger. Or that was backwards. No, we're making all of ourselves less when we make any person less, because we're taking away that person's gifts from the collective. So I'm going to leave you with these 3 things once again, because I see somebody else just joined. But the 3 most important things of your spiritual path again. And I will try to make the playlist of meditation for Spotify. That will be my next thing I work on. So first, most important for your spiritual path, meditation, because that's how you find peace inside yourself. 2, listening. And 3, finding compassion. Because when you listen and you really hear someone else's story, you realize they are not so different as you, and that's when you care for them. So every day, if you can, do your loving kindness meditation. I can pin it again on my bio. It's on there, or you can find one on YouTube if you Google search loving kindness meditation, or you can just remember these. So the things you want to say are May you be well. May you know peace. May you be happy. Focus that to yourself. Focus that to the collective. Focus that to every living being, because when we share that compassion, then the world changes, because we're changing it, because we're changing here. When we change here, we change out here, because thoughts become things. I love you guys. See you next time. How do I stop?